Hey everybody, it's Bethany Hayes here. Wanted to talk to you today about using Google spreadsheets, much like you would Excel or some other spreadsheet programs in order to go paperless. Now, this started with me last year with the pandemic and needing to go much more digital. It became important to me to go paperless. Very early in my career, I was that teacher that had so many pieces of paper and so many forms and so many, you sign this and you bring this back. Everything had to be color coordinated and it was ridiculous to keep up with. And it ended up in a file, or maybe it was in a binder. And when you needed it again, who knew where it was? It just didn't work. And so I started thinking over the summer about how can I make this happen and have it for myself virtually, digitally, and make that easier. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is share my screen with you. I tried to do this a little bit earlier and recorded it and everything was black. So I'm not really sure what happened. But the first thing we're going to do is when you open up your Google Gmail, you're going to see this lovely little 3x3 up here called the waffle. Okay, and I'm going to start in Google Forms. I've presented before about Google Forms and how they work, but I just did a little bit of tinkering around kind of this morning to have something to show you on how I'm going to go paperless this year and how it's going to help my classroom and how it's going to help me keep up with stuff. Okay, so the first thing that I came up with was a student information sheet. And I will send you a copy of this if you would like it. My email is bhayes, Hayes, at tcjackets.net, and I will be glad to share it with you. You'll need to make your own copy, but I'll include those instructions in the email. So I used to send out a student information sheet. It's kind of some information I wanted to know on the kids so that I had it in case I needed it. A lot of that's now in Infinite Campus, and so you can access that, but that's kind of not why I'm doing this. This is why I did this. Okay, so I'm teaching 2 courses this year, forensics and physical science. So I need to know which one they're in. I want to know what class period I have them, who they are, what grade level they're in, and who's a parent, how to reach a parent. And then the other thing that's important to me is extracurricular activities or other things that they're involved in. Now, be careful when you ask them for additional information. This backfired on me years ago when I was teaching middle school in another school system. I had the additional information listed and the kid said, do you need to know that I can smell people? And I said, what? He says, do you need to know that I can smell people? I said, what do you mean you can smell people? Like body odor? Like, what are you talking about? Like you smell people? He goes, no, everybody has their own individual scent. And I'm really good at it. I'm really good at hide and go seek. No, honey, I don't need to know that. So yeah, just be careful what you ask them for. So there's a reason why I like this information. So my kids are going to get this on the first day of school. I want to know this information. 2 reasons. When I click on responses, it's going to give me all this data in form. I don't want it in the form. If I see this little green button right here, when I click on it, because I've already created this, it's going to give me that. But the first time you click on it, it'll say, do you want to create a new spreadsheet? And you say yes. And so it populates all of the answers into the spreadsheet, which is great. Okay, it's wonderful. And I've already kind of jostled some things around. So this gives me a couple of things. One, when they sign in to do it, it will have their email, not mine. It will tell me what day and time they filled this out. That's important for other things. It may not be important for this one, but it's important for if I want to know exactly when a kid did something that I'm asking them to do through this option, it will tell me exactly when they did it, which is great. What course, what class period, who their name is, what grade level. Let's say I want to sort this data by grade level. So I can click on this little arrow and I can sort it and it gives them to me by grade level. Or maybe I want to do it by class period. I don't know. However I want to do it, okay? It still sorts it for me. Tells me who to contact and their information. This is important to me because 2 years ago, I took 150 students up to the Georgia Public Safety Training Center, otherwise known as GIPSTIC. It is where, it's in Forsyth, and it is where all first responders for the entire state of Georgia are trained. So everybody from your local firefighter, your local police officer, all the way up to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, the Georgia State Patrol, Department of Natural Resources, all those guys and girls are trained there. Department of Corrections. It also houses the largest juvenile facility in the state of Georgia. And so I took them there, and they got to see how all these people are trained, and it was a really cool experience. But let's say hypothetically, little Johnny slips, falls, skins his knee. I need to call mom and say, look, little Johnny's fine, but I just want to tell you this happened. I don't have my computer. Oh, wait, I gave them permission slips. I have the permission slips in the binder somewhere in my book bag, which is on the bus. Just the logistics, it can be overwhelming. But what is the one thing that you always have with you? Okay, this little thing right here. If you go into all of your apps for your phone, whether that's through iTunes or what, I don't even remember. Get in your app settings. You can download Google Sheets as an app. And when you sign in with your school email, every sheet you have ever created with your school email is there. It does not take up memory on your phone. It's there. So here I am, little Johnny's got a bleeding knee. It's where they train the EMTs. So they patched him up real good. Everything's great, but I need to call mom. I've got it on my phone. I didn't have to worry about bringing 150 pieces of paper with me and going through and trying to find the number and everything that's going on. It's right here. Okay. Makes my life a lot easier. Maybe on a Wednesday, Coach Henderson sends out an email to the teachers at the high school, and he says, hey, we're doing helmet stickers. If you have a football player that you would like to recognize for their hard work in the classroom, send me their name. Okay. And I start thinking, okay, who are my football players? We said, everybody. Simple. If they filled this out, I press the control button and hold it down, and then I press the F key, and it says find in sheets, and I'm going to say football. And every single time the word football is in this document, it is now highlighted. So I can see who my football players are. I can see who my basketball players are, who does mock trial, who's in merit, it allows me to see all of that information very quickly. By the way, the control F function works in pretty much every document, whether it's a Google document or a Word document, or it's same command. I think it's different for MacBooks, but for Windows, that works. Okay, so that's the first way that I'm going to use this. The other way that I'm going to use this program, on Fridays, not every Friday, but occasionally we watch forensic files in my forensics classroom. And it became something that it did not matter how I went about doing it, they cheated. Shocker. I've tried to do this as a Google document, and they shared the document and then turned in their own ones. Like, I was too stupid to realize that's what they were doing. So I went to handwritten. Well, then they just passed around the answers, and I don't want a summary. I want to know who the victim is, who the suspects are, and what's the evidence that led you to that suspect. Okay, and I want you doing it in real time. While you're watching it, I want you taking notes. So this year I'm going to a form. I want another class period. I want another name. We're going to list what episode it is, the victims, the suspects, and the evidence. Okay, and again, it's going to give it to me in responses, in forms that the logistics that show up on the forms it's great information for other things. If you're doing a quiz and you want to know, how many kids selected the first response as the answer, you can do that. That's great. That kind of information, forms gives it to you. It's wonderful, but that's not the purpose of this presentation. So again, I'm going to click on my little spreadsheet, and it's going to tell me that Miss Tammy Sheely, filled out this particular forensic files episode. She didn't, as you can say, I did. Ooh, I filled it out as if I was Miss Sheely. Cheater. Okay, so She watched the episode Guidance Not Found, and the victim, Freshman Smith, had his phone taken away by Mama Smith, and we have our reasons as to why we suspect that that's what happened. Okay, so they're going to populate this, and it's all of their answers are right here for me. When I start wanting to look at what they did and who answered what and when they did it, it's all right here. No more taking up a piece of paper. No more looking through 1,000,001 Google documents to try to find out who turned in what, who shared this, that. It's all in one spreadsheet. Okay, that makes my life easier, and that makes me happy. Also, Google Sheets will do the same thing that Excel does. At the end of the year, last year, I had students say, well, I need to know what I need to make in order to pass, or I need to know what I need to make a B. And answers like a wing and a prayer were not answers they wanted to hear. So I needed to know, like, I don't want to sit here and do all this by hand for every single kid. That's not going to work. And so I created this grade calculator. And if you're a math person, this is going to come easy to you. If you're not a math person, I will share this with you. It's already loaded up with the formulas. It already does the calculations automatically. Just email me and I'll send it to you. So let's say little Johnny comes out of the gate, first 9 weeks, and he works really, really hard, and he makes a 92. Great. And then second 9 weeks rolls around, and little Johnny gets a little bit complacent. He's not really working as hard as he should, but he ends up with like a 79. And then little Johnny falls off of the cliff, third 9 weeks, and he makes a 52. Okay. When little Johnny comes to me at the end of the last week of school and says, Miss Hayes, I gotta pass. Okay. You have to have a 57 in the fourth 9 weeks in order to pass. You can do that. Okay, but what if I want to make a B? Boy, you got to have a 97 to make a B. And a wing and a prayer. Probably not going to happen, but that's what you have to have. Well, can I make an A? No, it's mathematically impossible for you to make an A. Okay. But then you might have that kid who says, I want the highest grade possible. I've had a 98, a 97, and a 99. And then suddenly, fourth 9 weeks hits, and they're just like completely overwhelmed. Who knows what's going on at home? And they say, look, I can't do it this fourth 9 weeks. Just like, what's the bare minimum I got to do just to pass? Well, honey, you've already passed, but you need to work. Okay, well, if I need to pull a B, how do I do that? You got to have a 26. You can do that. Can I make an A? Yeah, you can. Your grades are high enough the first 3 9 weeks that you could still pull an A. So this document will do that for you. You can do the opposite, 41, 57, 62, getting better and better each time, but still not enough. Sorry, you're mathematically ineligible for passing this year. Good luck. See you in credit recovery. So this document will do that. Excel sheets will do the same thing, not Excel sheets, Google Sheets will do the exact same thing that Excel does. So if you were an Excel person, Google Sheets will do it for you. If you need me to come over to you next week and sit with you and help you go paperless, I will do that. Email me, bhayes@tcjackets.net. I will come and sit with you one-on-one and help you do this. I hope this has been informative for you. I hope this has helped you think about how you can be more of a digital teacher instead of a paper teacher. I'll be honest with you, as a student myself right now, I do a whole lot of printing for our online course because I like a piece of paper, but this helps me a lot. So if I can be of help to you, if I can come and spend time with you and work this out for you where you can do this digitally, I will be happy to do so. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful year, and go Jackets.